Hey guys, welcome everybody to this week's podcast episode for the Financial Freedom Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Liu. As you know, I talk about the four different types of freedom: time, financial, location, and health, and always scouring the globe looking for entrepreneurs, CEOs, people on the cutting edge impacting the world. So today we have this Activation Products, Ian Clark, and it's going to be a great conversation about entrepreneurship, health, running a business, and I'm really excited about this talk. So, Ian, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Christopher. It's good to be here.
Yeah, I know we had connected through Podmatch, and you have a really interesting bio because your company Activation Products does a lot in terms of longevity, immunity. Tell us how you got started and what your company does.
Yeah, well, I turned 65 this coming June, and I think I'm just getting started. So my health is heading towards a 25-year-old biological. I'm already back to a 35-year-old, literally measured through a very special technology out of Russia. And this has been a journey. When I first started, this was at 46 years old, where I had extreme health issues that were going to take me out of here. I had the prognosis at that time was around 36 months. And I had a tumor growing in the bottom of my abdomen. I had heart disease, also had liver numbers that were off the charts. And I had no idea that it was coming. When all this stuff hit at once. I had just gone through a significant bankruptcy as well, which was ridiculous because I had had a couple of small businesses in my life and then one small business failure, but I had another company that had bought one of my more recent companies at that time. And I got a lawsuit that came through, and it just, which I lost on a lathe that had been taken back on a lease that was actually all paid for. But because there was some fine print where they could get me for $35,000, it put me over the edge. And then the company I was with at the time that had bought my most recent company reneged on a royalty agreement. And it was just a meltdown. So I lost like a $15 million contract plus bluff. It was ridiculous. And it was all to do with me. It was everything that I had set up. I had basically set myself up for failure without even knowing I was doing so, and disappointment. So I had all these lessons were kind of being learned at once, and I had nothing left to lose. I was losing my health. And I thought, we got to go for broke, because if I'm going to lose my body, then it is just game over at that point. You can lose money, you can earn that back, but you can't get a body back. And so I was being told by the doctors in Toronto, where I was living at the time, Ontario, Canada, all these things that I had to do to remedy the situation, using surgery and various different things. And none of that made sense. My oldest brother was a medical doctor for 30 years. I spoke with him. I would always talk to him about things that were coming up anyway, because he was a very intelligent doctor. And all he told me was just follow through. You have to go get the surgeries. He said that I was genetically predisposed to this type of thing. I look like my Uncle Don on my mom's side, which I did. And my uncle had died at 51 of cancer. My other uncle, Bob, his older brother, died at 54. They died 2 days apart in 1978. Just like boom, boom. One took a year to die. One took only 3 months to die. And they both did exactly what the doctors told them and ended up in a casket. So that was in 1978. When you fast forward to 2004, I had this suspicion that there must be better ways of naturally dealing with this. And none of the doctors could tell me why I had what I had. They were just like, you ask them a question, you're just one of their, 1,000 patients. They're like, I don't know why you have what you have. It's like, it's just, you need surgery. So I just thought, if I'm gonna move out of here, then I'm going to do it on my own hands. I'm not going to let the doctors touch me, because I didn't want the surgery on this particular area of my body either. When I did that, everybody kind of freaked out on me. I was freaking out anyway. I was panicking. And then I just thought, forget the panic, forget the fear. I'm going to find out. I woke up one morning and I had this thing that sort of said, there's people on the earth somewhere who know exactly what to do, and they exist. And so there was this little bit of a hope that came.
Hmm.
But the problem was I didn't know where they were, who they are, how to find them, or any of that kind of stuff. But the fact that I, it's obvious that people exist like that, and they've done research, and I just wanted to be led to them. So my request was, if I could be led to them, I would do whatever it takes. I really would. I didn't have any money, but I would do whatever it took, spend whatever I could get, time, suffering, joy, fun, travel, whatever it took. And it just happened very, very slowly. I started to learn about detox and eating clean and getting better sleep and managing my stress. I started studying that kind of thing. Then I found out that the tumor, which would be called, simply a conglomeration of a fungal infection, yeast overgrowth, bacterial blowouts, heavy metals. I was full of heavy metals because I'd worked in the oil field for 17 years when I was young, from 18 to 35 years old. And this was just blowing up on me. I found out about how to do a fungal detox, heavy metal detox. I knew I was jacked up with chemicals. So fast forward, it took 7 years, from 2004 to 2011, to get totally clear of everything naturally with no surgeries. And it was just a meticulous thing of just do this, this, this. It was all fairly simple, but it involved a lot of suffering. At one point, I lost 90 pounds. I went down to a skeleton. I came back up to around 160 by 2009, somewhere's in there. And then, I just found out these things to get myself into a safe zone. So I had 3 years to work with. I got that out to 5, and then I had 5 years to work with. I've got that out to 15. Then with the 15 years to work with, so I'm at 19 years in now. I have an indefinite amount of time now into the future, because I found out in the last, particularly the last 5 years, I was given 3 keys. And these are real keys. They're not high tech. I was always looking for the high tech solution as well. There's some high tech stuff out there for health, and they call med beds and things, but that's not the answer. These are things that are affordable for everybody, simple, super effective, and they unlock a lock that allows the body to stop aging. Basically, so you're just aging super, super slow. So I had to reverse my age from being, die right away, to come all the way back. So I'm at 35 now, on a trajectory to get to 25. So the goal is to remain at a 25-year-old biological age internally, and that way you just simply keep living. And what I found out, one of the biggest things that is taking us out is the particulate matter we're breathing, which is a massive amount of different things like rubber dust, brake dust, fuel, cremated bodies, all kinds of weird stuff that's in the air we breathe that you don't see, but it's very, very real. And if you go do the research on particulate matter, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's like a list of 1,000 things that are in the air. And if you accumulate that stuff, your body can't take it. It just won't. And I'd accumulated a lot of other stuff, which is unusual for people to have. Regardless, whether you don't or do, you're going to have a particulate matter, because we breathe 11,000 liters a day of air. And you're not going to stop breathing anytime soon. And there's no mask that'll stop it from coming in. So you can't wear anything, because you need to have 11,000 liters of at least decent, oxygen. But I learned how to detox the body and how to turn my body into a detoxification machine, basically like a biological organism that can get rid of the whole accumulation. And this started out in 2007. I learned about a thing called Oceans Alive, which I call Oceans Alive now. It's actually marine phytoplankton. And this is a substance made in Europe. It's an heirloom marine phytoplankton microalgae that they had done a 40-year study on to find the perfect strains. There's like 40-some thousand strains in the ocean. And they had got it down to 2 strains that work for the human nutritional profile. There's other strains for aquaculture, for fish, for shellfish farms and that kind of thing. There's even ones for biofuels. But these particular ones for the human. And they had just finished that study. So in 2007, I'm like, I'd like to try that. So I took some, and it made my body feel like I was charging my battery. That's the only way I could explain it, because I didn't understand the real science behind it yet. And then I found out how to stabilize it in a liquid form. inside of concentrated sea minerals. And it's all purified. So it's like no contaminants from the environment because it's grown on land. And it's not harvested from the ocean. It's grown on land and harvested on land using sunlight. That has now gone full circle because it is the ocean elements that allow our body to hydrate and get detoxified, which is the opposite of what everybody thinks. And I found out that most of what I knew was the opposite of what I thought was true. It's weird. Like, it's not a conspiracy. It's just the way the world is. We've been misinformed, and people aren't intentionally misinforming you. But I looked at physical change. I mean, we got clinical studies, and we got this and that or whatever, but those are all in a direction to make money on the health industry, trillions of dollars on people's illness until they die. And there's big money on it. So my business started, and I didn't even know I was going to have this business. This is the kind of interesting, because here I am bankrupt, right? It took me until 2011 to get out of the bankruptcy for 7 years, because that happened in 2004. And when I found out about the phytoplankton, I just told some people in Canada, and they turned their nose up at it. It's like, yeah, what is that? They weren't interested. And I was told, just go to California and show some people there. So I went to an event, a natural products event in Anaheim in 2007. I showed some people in California, and they immediately were interested. And then I said, well, do you want to try some? Because I had some with me. They tried it, and they go, like, in 15 minutes, they're saying to me, like, what is this stuff? So I said, well, it's marine phytoplankton. And they said, well, where do you get it? And I said, well, I can get it. And that's how it started. I went home, and we would get orders where I had to fly stuff around the world. I had to fly totes, like only 4 20-liter totes. I would fly from Australia to Europe. They would blend the product there, stabilize it, and they did all the testing on it to prove it was perfect. This is like high science stuff. And they would ship it to me in Canada, and we were bottling in our basement for the first 24 months. We have 7 children, and my oldest 2 sons were 21 and 20 at the time. And so they led the younger ones, and we just set up a little clean room downstairs, and we were doing thousands of bottles for the first 24 months by hand, and labeling with a printer and sending it to California. And we did like 2.8 million in sales in the first 24 months at retail. We didn't get the 2.8 million. We got 800,000 of that. And then I realized it was all like just word of mouth. We didn't even have a company set up properly. We had no marketing, no sales, no nothing, just people wanting the stuff, and people who knew people who wanted it, and they were selling it to people for $60 a bottle, and we were selling it for $20 to them. And so that was how it got going. It was like, I guess we have a business, apparently. And so we took that money and we put it into research. I never spent the money. We just utilized only just to live within our means. And then we set up a factory with 70,000 square foot factory in Cobourg, Ontario. We're fully registered with Health Canada, FDA registered, USDA certified organic, GMP certified, audited. And we produce this product line of natural products that are all like organic and heirloom and special, like very effective stuff that when you consume it, it just simply supports your body to stay healthy. It doesn't cure anything, because your body is able to heal itself very, very efficiently. You get a cut in your arm, what happens? It heals. You cut your leather seat in your car, it doesn't heal. So there's some really major dynamic around our bodies that I found out about, the intelligence it has. Don't try to manage your body. Let it manage itself, but you got to support it with the workers, the enzymes and the raw materials and the blueprint. It just goes back to where it wants to be. And I've seen my body dramatically change. And I even learned how to repair all my own injuries. This sounds like really far out, but it's not. This is physical. I can show you, because seeing is believing in the physical world. I had 2 significant knee injuries. My left one was the worst, and my right one was a snowmobile accident. But it was a tear on my right side. It was a crushing tear on my left side from a firewall on an oil rig that fell on top of me that I got away from. But it caught my leg, and it damaged it so much that I could never water ski or snow ski again from 21 years old onward. And when I was 60 years old, I found out exactly how to repair it myself, no cost. using my hands and nothing woo-woo, no etheric stuff, real physical treatment of my body that fixed it. And so I had these keys. I was like, I've been handed these keys. This is really amazing stuff. And I saw I had an enlarged prostate that went right back down to normal size. I had lost 30% of libido. That came all the way back just by using natural substances and nothing, like no chemical stuff, no Viagra's, nothing. And now I'm in a body that is again, like I said, 35 years old currently. So I went from whatever that age was, back to a biological. I'm a chronological 65-year-old, but that doesn't even matter anymore. And I've got more energy. I've got super brain power from all these things that increased continuously. And my body intelligence came up, and I found out how to get all the particulate matter that had accumulated. I started learning this at 64 years. I'd already been working on it, but I learned the exact method to get all that accumulated stuff out. And now today, everything that's coming in goes out the same day. And it's a phenomena. So that's where our business became what it is. And when I called it activation products, because every time I would share something with somebody that I had, they would go, wow, that feels really good. And so is there other things I can do to be healthier? So it just felt like people were being activated to take responsibility for themselves and to take care. And then they wanted to learn more. They wanted the capacity to learn more. And I always tell everybody, if you actually want to go down this road and find out how to take care of your body for real, you got to have a bank account full of courage, not money, a bank account full of courage. And so the information, the protocols, which are simple and easy for everyone to do, they had to be affordable. Because if people can't just afford it, then it doesn't work. It's only for the wealthy, they can afford thousands of dollars a month. And so we invested around $85 million since 2014 into the research. We're completely privately held. My family, me and my boys and my wife and my 2 girls. We have 5 boys, 2 girls. And we all own the company together. And now we're ready to scale it and serve like literally millions of people with this information. And it's a really fun ride.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Where can people go and check out your work? And you have a lot of interesting thoughts and ideas. And how can people follow you on social media and contact you?
Well, the best place right now is Activation, and they can subscribe to our email list, which is our newsletter is getting better and better. And I'm on social, like I'm on TikTok, Ian Clark Activated. And well, some of them are like either Ian Activated or Ian Clark Activated, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. And we're starting to publish the information now, because with the 3 keys that I've got, I want to get these keys to everybody. Because once you get the keys, then you can use them however you want. It's like, how far do you want to go? How much fun do you want to have? How good do you want to feel? How young do you want to stay? And how long do you want to live? It's up to you. It's not, there's no magic pills. It's knowledge. And then getting the right nutrients. Like I don't touch anything anymore as far as chemical stimulants because I don't need them. Caffeine's off the menu as well, because I have more energy and a better buzz all day, and I drink more tasty drinks than coffee could ever be. And I used to love coffee. I was a coffee connoisseur. I used to roast my own coffee. I would get organic single origin beans and roast them and make sure I used them within 5 days and they didn't go rancid. And I had all this whole protocol. I need none of it anymore. I never touch alcohol because people drink alcohol to feel good. I feel 10 times better than I could ever feel drinking alcohol. So I don't poison myself with that anymore. So there's, just getting people to learn. So I'm on the TikTok. I just started a TikTok channel 2 weeks ago. I had 65 well, I didn't start it 2 weeks ago. I started it like 6 months ago, but I had 65 followers. I didn't do anything on it. I just started publishing short 1 to 2 minute videos on there. And I think today I checked this morning, I'm at 14,000 followers without even trying. And it's all organic. And I have almost 300,000 views on one little video on how to talk to your body. And then about dental, like everything you've got to know, you do have to know. And it's just a matter of me sharing the info and we're building a community as well.
Nice. Yeah, I think let's thank Ian for a great conversation. Be sure to check out all of his resources. They'll be in the links and show notes. And thanks again for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah, thank you, Christopher, for having me. And thanks for your patience while